Welcome to the first video, step 1 of the 7 steps in creating a Eurorack analogue of Deleuze and Guattari's of the Refrain. A quick recap. The first step, chaos, is what Deleuze and Guattari call the plane of consistency. We're talking about pure potential. There's no differentiation in the chaos. Let's use the analogy of the Mona Lisa to help us understand each step. In this case, we're talking about the visual field before any distinctions are made, just light, color, and texture without any figure or background. If we're talking about chaos, texture, and potential without differentiation, the obvious choice for a Eurorack patch would be white noise. That would be easy, but if I liked easy things, I wouldn't be studying Deleuze and Guattari, and my hobby wouldn't be modular synths. So instead, I've decided to use samples and random sampling from those samples as my basis for chaos. Here's my rationale. I still don't know much about Deleuze and Guattari, but when I knew absolutely nothing, one of the first things I came across was the idea of folding and unfolding. Unfolded space and folded space. I read this as foreground and background. In electronic music, I've often felt that men are foregrounded and women are backgrounded. That's why I'm so interested in female pioneers and current female electronic artists. There's a wonderful documentary, Sisters with Transistors, and while watching it, I became fascinated by Marianne Amica. I was especially drawn to her installation City Links, a 28-hour work where she placed 5 microphones around the city of Buffalo in the USA, connecting them to her studio by telephone lines, and then mixing the hum and buzz of the city into the piece. So rather than using white noise, I'm interested in background noise, the hum of a place. I don't have the resources to run phone lines into my studio, but this prompted me to thinking about how I could do something similar in my hometown, Kunming, Yunnan, China. That's where sampling and random sampling come in. After some searching, I stumbled across the radio music module from Music Thing Modular. For those who don't know the module, you can store banks of recordings, each functioning like a set of radio stations to play continuously when looped. Multiple recordings play back at once, and you can flip through them with the station knob. That station knob sending the audio of one of the samples to the output. Immediately, I thought of Amica because I could collect recordings of Kunming, load them into the module, and flick between them. The module allows CV control, not just of which radio station you're listening to, but also to the start point, normally triggered by the reset button. This means I can randomize both the station and the start point. The recordings aren't live, of course. I choose them at the beginning, but the playback is unpredictable, and that feels close to what Amica was doing. For me, this is a suitable analog of chaos, samples as potential with minimal differentiation, nothing having yet been selected or formed beyond the selection of the original recordings. So how do I do it? First, a note on sources. This is a test phase, so I've just been pocket recording with my phone whilst walking through Kunming, mostly traffic noise, but also things like a jazz quartet, walking through a park, footsteps, rainfall, that sort of thing. Also, the jazz quartet was Doug Side's legacy band. If anyone is interested, please do look them up. I saw them, as I say, in Kunming, and they were absolutely amazing. These recordings form my first bank background samples. I want to update them with much higher quality and much more varied samples as I proceed. Now the modules. For this part of the patch, I'm using the Source of Uncertainty 266T from Buchla Tip-Top Audio. This is a classic random voltage generator that has a few tricks up its sleeve. I'm also using the 0A x2 from ALM Busy Circuits. This is a 2-channel attenuator and offset, very useful little module. The Ornament and Crime, this one was made by my mate Clive, shout out to Clive, running the Hemispheres Phaseville suite using the comparator app. Basically, it's got loads of different apps on it, and I'm using a comparator. And then finally, of course, the radio music. Here's how the patch works. 2 fluctuating random voltages come from the source of uncertainty. The first goes through the OA × 2, where I attenuate and offset it. The source of uncertainty outputs up to plus or 10 volts, but radio music likes between 1 and 4 volts. If you feed it 0 to 1 or 4 to 5 volts, you mostly hit the first or last sample, which isn't very random. So OA × 2 brings it into the sweet spot. This adjusted CV then goes into the sample and hold input of the source of uncertainty. Meanwhile, the second fluctuating voltage goes into the comparator app in Ornament and Crime via OA times 2 again to hit the sweet spot. Whenever the voltage passes a threshold I've set, the comparator outputs a random gate whose speed I can shape with the source of uncertainty's rate control. The sample and hold therefore samples the attenuated random voltage, but only when triggered by another random source. So you get random values at random times. The source of uncertainty also has alternating outputs from its sample and hold. This adds another layer. Odd pulses control one set of CV and gates. Even pulses control another. I patch one alternating output to change the station knob, which indicates which sample to play, and the other to reset the start point within that sample. The result, every odd gate moves to a new sample. Every even gate jumps to a new point inside it. The radio music module then outputs audio, randomly selecting stations, randomly selecting start points, all built from background recordings of Kuming. So randomly sampling Kuming, that's the goal. This for me is a patch that embodies chaos. Finally, I'm going to show you a 90-second recording of the patch in action with the real life hardware. I'm aware the recording's not very good. I don't have time to set up recording video that syncs to high quality audio output. I'm sure I could manage it, but that would take me all day instead of making the video. This little video will have to suffice for now. Those who are interested in hearing high quality audio, I have recorded 5-minute, I think, audio, and I'll upload another video with just the audio and a photograph of the hardware for you to listen to.